Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm looking at the Incredible Hulk at Bay. It's Incredible Hulk 171 from 1974. It's another 20 center. I've been making videos revisiting some of the comic books that I really enjoyed as a kid. This one's kind of special to me because there was a Power Records that was made out of this particular issue. Now, back in the day when I started reading comic books in 1976, we had a department store that was close to the house I grew up in. It's about a mile away, and my mom would shop there from time to time. And they would have these. They didn't really have comic books, like they didn't have a spinner rack. I couldn't actually get comic books there, but I could get these Power Records, these little vinyl 45s. My older sister had a record player. She had a Technics. Record player. I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. And I had begged my mom to get me all of these Power Record things from Marvel. They had a couple DC ones too. I didn't care, but they had the Hulk, they had Captain America, they had a couple Spider Man, they had a Fantastic Four, and I ended up getting them all. And this is the last one that I got, but it just so happens that it's covered Hulk 171. Now I didn't end up picking up Hulk 171. I didn't get it off the spinner rack. I wasn't reading comic books in 1974, unfortunately. I was only 5 years old. But I did get this at a used bookstore. We had an old, dusty used bookstore in town in the late 70s. And they had a box of, in the back of the store, they had a box of comic books just piled in there, and you could just, they sold them for like 25 cents or whatever. And some of them were in good condition and some were kind of ratty condition. And I remember this one kind of had a tear in the cover. As a kid, I didn't really care about the condition of my comic books, but I was just taken by this cover, and I had already had the Power Record, the 45 RPM of this particular comic book. Now the record doesn't, it says on the cover of the record, the story comes to life, the comic book comes to life, and it actually came with like a little condensed version of Hulk 171. So that was a little disappointing because when I actually, when I actually got the full comic book, I was like, oh, they left a lot of the story out of the record. I felt like I got gypped on the record a little bit. But anyway, it's still, I thought it was the greatest thing when I was a kid. And I still think it's pretty cool. I actually have, you can get the Power Record. You can find stuff on YouTube that'll have the entire Power Record audio on it. So it's kind of neat. So I've searched on YouTube and I got a couple. So I'll probably be playing an audio clip. Now, it's like old fashioned voices. It's, you listen to it now, it's kind of cringy. But back in the day, like, when I'm 7, 8 years old, it's the greatest thing ever. It's like, oh my God, the comic book comes to life. You couldn't see these characters on TV much. What I mean? They didn't have their shows yet. There wasn't any movies or, this is back back in the 70s, you could see, Wonder Woman, Linda Carter and her, big boobs and, Wonder Woman, and they had Super Friends on, but you didn't really get much Marvel stuff. So, I thought it was, just thought it was the greatest thing ever. Now look at this cover. There's no mistake of who does this cover. This is Herb Trimpe. Herb Trimpe died about 10 years ago or so. But I just loved his stuff as a kid. He went on to do, not only did he have like a 7, 8 year run on the Hulk, which he's probably best known for, but he went on to do some of the licensed stuff for Marvel. He did Shogun Warriors and Godzilla, and then he did the G.I. Joe, Real American Hero. He did some of the first issues of those in the early 80s when that came out. So he's always been one of my top 10 favorite Marvel artists. So but just look at this cool cover with the red and, the yellow Hulk text, the logo, and the Hulk corner box. Man, I miss these corner boxes like that. The Rhino coming at Hulk from one side, the Abomination from the other. Hulk must stop both, and then the Rhino says or die, and I just love this. I just love this picture of the Rhino and Abomination, like they've got him cornered and they're charging him. But right here you see Herb Trimpe, just says Trimpe, so it is pronounced Trimpe, by the way. I always said it was, as a kid I pronounced it Trimp. I didn't know better, but yeah, it is officially Herb Trimpe on how to pronounce his name. But let's get into the yeah, as you can see, it's Jerry Conway, author. He had taken over for Roy Thomas had done some of the. I think Roy Thomas took a little bit more of a editor role right here. Yeah, Roy Thomas editor, but Roy Thomas had been writing a lot of the Marvel comic books in the late '60s, and this is 1974. So this actually, this is 171. So this is 10 issues before the first appearance of Wolverine, which Herb Trimpe penciled as well. How much longer is Hulk going to have to sit in the dark? Why doesn't plane land so Hulk can get out? Hulk doesn't like sitting, makes Hulk very angry. So Hulk is kind of like a stowaway here on this on this on this jet that's going back to the Hulkbuster base #1, which was designed by Thunderbolt Ross. I guess in the previous issue, they had rescued what's her name, Betty Ross. Yeah, Thunderbolt Ross's daughter from some kind of explosion that was going to happen on this island. I guess the Hulk ended up catching a ride on this jet as well, unbeknownst to the flight crew here, because Betty's voice, Hulk forgot she was here. But Hulk remembers he got in box to be near Betty. Betty is Hulk's friend. Yeah, this is classic Herb Trimpe face down here. These soldiers. Herb Trimpe was a pilot in real life, I guess. So he was one of the better Marvel artists at the time of drawing like army equipment and stuff like that. That's one reason why he got the GI Joe. He was tailor made for the GI Joe gig, and he drew giant robots really well too. So he did the Shogun Warriors. So Hulk changes back to Bruce Banner here. The Hulk must have relaxed for a moment, perhaps fallen asleep. Whatever the reason, I've changed. I'm Bruce Banner again. The question is, now where am I? He doesn't remember anything from when he's the Hulk. Yeah, I'm going to play some of that Power Records. Yeah, it's kind of funny to listen to it now. I had the Fantastic Four and the Spider-Man versus the Man-Wolf Power Records as well. I think I got them late 1976. I know I got one or two of them for Christmas, and I might have gotten one for my birthday as well. So, but I remember a couple of them kind of scared me as a kid because it had some like creepy sound effect, like not so much the one from the Hulk, but the Fantastic Four. They had a Fantastic Four Power record where they were. It was like a flashback issue where they fought the Mole Man. Not the first issue where they fought the Mole Man in Fantastic Four #1, but later on it was called, and it kind of went over the origin of the Mole Man. It was a little bit creepy at times. It kind of scared me. And the Spider-Man Man-Wolf one kind of scared me as well because they had the Man-Wolf howling sound effects and stuff. So yeah, it was kind of creepy, for a 7-year-old kid to be listening to. I'm going to play some of this. Now it's scratchy because it's recorded straight off of an old 45 RPM vinyl and everything.
He seems strangely dead, except for the new arrivals.
Still no sign of the men who are supposed
Still
to be
no sign of the men.
Colonel Armbruster.
What is it, Rogers?
I just returned from the radio bunker. All of the
What a
equipment has
voice.
been sabotaged. Circuits smashed. Of course, we still have the radios in our jets, but...
Then what's the problem, soldier? Seems to me we've...
God, I miss these old. I got to get myself a vinyl. I got to get back into it, man. I miss these old vinyl records, man. Screw these CDs and all this digital crap.
got the
Anyway,
situation well in hand. We'll check out this desertion thing, but for the moment, It seems things
Wait till
are
you hear the
more or less
voices
under
of the
control.
Rhino, and here we go. Aim
Won't have
carefully.
time for a second shot.
Don't worry, partner. Once I fired this baby, those army boys will be about as much trouble as a class
That's
of
our first graders.
1 second. 2.
Oh, turn the page.
And before the startled eyes of 35 professional warriors, an army jet buckles and explodes. Smoke clears.
I want 6 volunteers to hit that hangar. Rogers, Clemens, Grady, Jones, Watson.
A moment's pause, and amid the rubble,
Colonel, there's something moving in Hangar 2.
Well,
That's that
don't just
creepy
stand there,
background
soldier.
music.
We'll attack.
Maybe you'd better
That they
take a look.
played in all the power records.
What in Sam Hill?
nightmare.
Oh,
All
this
his
is
life, the man
now
named
this is a
Armbruster
splash
has been a
page
soldier,
right here.
and possibly a good one. But today he finds himself confronted with a sight from his most tortured dreams. Not one uncrushable foe, but 2.
You hold them back, Abomination. Show them we mean business, and then nobody can stop us.
Nobody in the whole wide world will ever stop us again.
You're the same kind of creature as the Hulk, a gamma-ray mutant.
Yeah, just that creepy. They use the same kind of like creepy for like a dramatic page. They'd use in all the different power records, no matter what it was, the Fantastic Four, the Spider-Man. They always use that same creepy. Scared the crap out of me as a kid. I'm telling you, it's funny to look back on the things I'm scared of when I was a 7-year-old kid. I'm like, now I'm looking at it, it's like I just find it funny, and of course, whatever. But yeah, this splash page was always cool to me as a kid. I just love this. You see the Abomination with his weird green. He's not like bright green like the Hulk was. And I always thought it was weird. He had these big flappy, these big flappy ear things. I thought they did a pretty good job in that 2008 Incredible Hulk movie with Ed Norton of depicting Abomination. And I'm kind of glad that they took the big ear, whatever you want to call them, the big ears of off the Abomination, because I always thought that looked kind of silly. But I always thought it was kind of cool, though. I like the bumps on his head and everything. And then the Rhino's cool. Boy, they were trying to do that version of the Rhino in the Spider-Man where he's like just a dude in like a robotic suit. I mean, granted, it would be hard to depict Rhino in a movie, just some big, you'd have to CGI it. You basically, I mean, it's a shame you have to do that, but you'd have to CGI, having some big bruiser guy in a skin tight Rhino suit with 2 horns on his head like that. But, it kind of looks like a Rhino skin with these bumps and everything. But as a 7-year-old kid, I thought this was the greatest page ever. Let's get on to the next. Wrong, fool. I'm far more powerful than that green lump. I'm the Abomination. Bop. That would kill. I'm the strongest mutant of all. Yeah, they were calling them mutants. I mean, this is when the X-Men, I don't even think they were doing new X-Men stories. I think this is where they were doing the X-Men reprints. The X-Men comic book was pretty much dead in the water in 1974. There hadn't been a new X-Men story in like years and years. So I don't know why they're calling Abomination a mutant, because he's not actually like what we know of a Marvel mutant. He has an explanation of why he has, it has his powers. It's from gamma radiation, just like the Hulk. Let's play some more of the power record.
Wrong, fool.
Whoa.
I'm far more powerful than that green lump.
No, you're
I'm
not.
the Abomination, the strongest mutant of all.
Not bad, friend. In the meantime, look at what I caught.
What is this? What do you want?
One. Lady, we want the Hulk's blasted green hide. We kinda thought we'd team up to blast that flat-headed creep into tomorrow. As soon as the Hulk shows up here, and we figure to get him here with all this Hulkbuster equipment, all of you and him are gonna be dead.
12 hours and night falls.
Gonna be
A car with
dead.
2 young passengers moves ever closer to the sprawling Arizona complex known as Hulkbuster Base Number 1.
Jim Wilson.
Jim
We've
Wilson.
come almost 2,000 miles from New York, so you can say hi to some friends.
Talia, honey, old General Ross and me go back more years than Uh-oh. Looks like a roadblock.
12 hours, and the Hulkbuster base has been completely and effectively surrounded.
Now, Jim
Let's see your
Wilson
ID.
becomes
What's going
part
on?
of the
Some sort of raid?
important
That's our
part of the
business,
story
mister.
later
Your
of this
business is to
issue.
get out of here before we begin to get a little suspicious.
Okay, friend. I get the general idea.
2 more hours pass.
My head. I must have been more tired than I thought. It just goes to show you a man can't lead a double life without getting pretty exhausted. Now that's odd. No one here. Not even a guard posted. Something's wrong. I can feel it. Dear Lord in heaven, no! Betty, General Ross, even Colonel Armbruster, sealed into one of the Hulk retaining cells? What in the name of sanity is going on?
Dazed, the renowned scientist can only stare. He does not hear the approach of the massive figure known as the Abomination. He doesn't hear
Now
until
they
it's
made-
much too late.
Another
The color is screwed up here because they made the Abomination the same color as the Rhino here. The Abomination should be green. He's not Hulk green, but the color is just, I don't know. The color's just screwing up between the two characters. Yeah, this is Rhino gray, not Abomination dark green.
one. We thought we captured all the humans on this base.
A fist, like a slab of iron, clamps over Banner's mouth and nose, and the abruptness of this attack causes Banner to become excited. His heart begins to pound, and in the darkness of the dimly lit corridor, Robert Bruce Banner begins to change. Then, where once stood a quiet physicist, now stands
Boom,
the
boom,
Incredible Hulk.
Step aside, Abomination. He's the Rhino's baby now.
Hulk doesn't understand. Hulk wakes up, and everyone attacks him. Wait! Hulk knows you. Hulk hit you before. Hulk.
The voice of the Hulk reminds me of the Phil Hartman Frankenstein on Saturday Night Live. Fire bad.
We'll do it again.
I know.
Keep back, Rhino. We can capture him with one of the Hulkbuster base's specially designed weapons.
Guns? Hulk thought only soldiers use guns. Hulk doesn't like guns.
Nice ray gun
will
sound
go
effect
away.
there.
Stop him, Abomination. Stop him.
No, he won't go far. He'll be back, and we'll be ready for him.
1 hour. Time enough for Jim Wilson and his girl Talia to drive around the Hulkbuster base, to find another unguarded entrance, and to use it.
Not a soul in sight. And all that wreckage on the airfield.
Let's get out of here, Jim. This place gives
Jim?
you the
Hulk! Big friend, am I glad to see you, especially at a time
Jim
like
is
this.
Hulk's friend.
Listen, do you know what's happening around here?
Jim is Hulk's friend. Maybe Jim can explain why ugly people attack Hulk.
Haltingly, the Hulk tells Jim and Talia as much as he can remember about the events of the past hour.
Well, the way it reads to me, these two goons are out to get you, Hulk. And from what you've said, well, they're willing to kill everyone on this base to do it. Looks like we don't have much choice. We'll have to use Talia as a decoy.
A decoy? Are you out of your mind, Jim Wilson? You want to play hero? Go ahead. But count me out.
Honey, I'm not going to argue with you. But I'll tell you this. If you don't help, there isn't one of us who'll get off this base alive.
A short while later, in the Central Control Complex.
These gadgets read positive. The Hulk's still in the vicinity. Pretty soon he'll be ours. Then once we've... someone outside. We can't let her get away. She's heading toward the surface. Do you think she heard about the bomb?
Grab her and find out.
But when the two lumbering allies reach topside,
She's gone.
You let her escape.
She can't do us any harm. The bomb's set. Not even the Hulk can...
Sounds like things are getting pretty hot and heavy upstairs. The longer the Hulk...
Hot and heavy
Hulk is busy,
upstairs.
the better my chances of reaching General Ross.
soon, outside the Hulk retaining cell containing the captured Hulkbusters,
General Ross, can you read me? This is Jim Wilson, General.
Is there anything I can do to get you dudes out of there?
Jim, thank heaven someone's found us. Don't worry about us.
I think I'm ahead
now,
of the
Jim.
record.
There's something far
I'm
more
ahead of the
important you have
record
to
by a
take care of.
page.
The Gamma Bomb.
Gamma bomb? You mean like the thing which turned Doc Banner into the Hulk?
Precisely. The Abomination has set it to go off in less than 3 minutes.
But why would he do a dumb thing like that?
Because he knew the Hulk was still on the base, and he expects to escape before the bomb can explode.
Wee-oh! Tell me what to do, General. Fast!
5 seconds later, after
Did Jerry Conway actually write Wii U? Okay. I don't know.
Jim has listened to Ross's hurried instructions and has set the cell intercom on maximum volume.
You take the main corridor to side passage 6G. There's a ladder there, Jim. Go down 2 levels. You'll find a pressure chamber.
I wish I could do this to all the old Bronze Age comic books.
Make a left, go 2 doors.
That'd be so
turn
cool.
Right. Hurry, lad, hurry. 90 seconds. Do you see the control panel? It should be to your left.
Got it!
It's a letter combination. The letters are CHAOS.
Chaos.
68 seconds, Jim.
Cut it out, man. I've got the top open.
We're
68
not out of the
seconds,
woods yet,
Jim.
son.
I like
You
how
still have to
General
reverse the
Ross is
detonation
sitting here
fuse.
sweating.
Great. How am I supposed to do that?
I wish I could tell you, son, but I don't know how the Abomination said it. It's up to you, Jim. 47 seconds.
I said cut that out. Phew.
There's a small pin. Touch it lightly. See which way it gives.
I'm trying it, General Ross. It's moving a bit. Now what?
Pick a direction, son, and pull. A pause. 3 seconds.
Bingo! The pin's out, General. The bomb's off. Fire out. I did it.
Meanwhile,
Hulk is tired of you hitting him, so Hulk will stop you. Like this.
Oh!
I'll handle this one. So now, you better get ready to ram him. Then we better get out of here. That Jeep
Man, it must have been fun recording this stuff.
Hulk is sick of fighting. Hulk wants to finish it.
Don't worry, Hulk. We'll finish it for you, as only the Rhino and the Abomination can.
This is stupid. Hulk doesn't like it. Hulk can beat either of you. But Jim said to wait. Hulk has waited long enough. So now, Hulk will leave.
No.
Boom!
there's an old saying about an immovable object meeting an irresistible force. Witness such a meeting and its result.
Big noise hurt Hulk's ears. Why won't the world ever leave Hulk alone?
Now, where'd they go? I mean, I can see that they've got their heads down and they're ramming. Hulk just says, screw this. I'm out of here. Hulk will I'm just going to leave. Normally, walks away. They can't stop. Bam. They ram each other. And then there's a big hole in the ground. And I guess the Rhino and Abomination just fell down into the big hole that was created by the explosion of the ramming. It's silly, but I mean, as a kid, I thought this was the coolest thing, man. I would sit there with my comic book and just play this record over and over, man.
And so much for the Rhino and the Abomination. Meanwhile, the troops surrounding
They don't
Hulkbuster
say that in
Base
the
number
real
1
comic
received
book.
the
There's
long-awaited signal. Lieutenant, look! They're telling us the danger's ended.
So much for the
Hulkbuster Base is back
Rhino
in
and
control.
Abomination.
Thus, 1/2 hour later, we find ourselves attending a most unusual press conference in which the star figure is...
The Hulk. Can you tell our audience exactly how you defeated both the Abomination and the Rhino?
Take stick out of Hulk's face, or Hulk will
Hulk
break
doesn't
it.
like press conferences.
Can I thank you?
You're the one who hates Hulk, who wants to destroy him.
Big
I'm
green
also the
hand
one who
shaking
owes
his hand.
life to you, as we all do. Maybe there's something I should learn from that. Maybe I've been...
Holy cow! Behind
Holy
you,
cow,
Hulk.
it says
Look
holy
out.
crud.
Umbrista, what the devil is the meaning of this? Don't you realize what you've done?
My duty, Ross. My patriotic duty. I've captured the Hulk.
A hero 1 minute, a captive the next. So it goes in the life of our huge friend. But the Hulk will find some way out. He always does.
I like how Jim says holy crud here in the real comic book, but on the Power record, they condense it. Like they don't, I'm surprised they said the word die earlier. They tried to sanitize it down a little bit for, little kids and everything. Um, even though this comic book is still, in 1974, I know they've got all that comic code nonsense and all that craziness, censorship, but it's still marketed toward children, obviously, but it's not marketed specifically for children, unlike the Power Record was. But yeah, here it says the next episode or next issue is the Juggernaut and all of this. I've captured the Hulk. Of course they say different. They're not gonna add all that in on the record production. But I just thought it was the greatest thing, and I was so happy because I got the Power Records first, and I had their little condensed comic book. But I was so happy when I actually found uh, issue 171 in that comic book box at the used bookstore. So even though the cover was falling off of it and almost and torn up, I think I might have paid 20 cents for it or something. But anyway, it just brings back memories, good times. So I'm going to be going over some more of the comic books that were covered by the Power Records, because I just get a kick out of revisiting this stuff that was just seared into my brain when I was 7, 8 years old. I just, I drove my parents nuts blasting this. I drove my sister. I have an older sister. Drove her batshit crazy just playing this stuff over and over. Sitting there reading these comic books. So anyway, that'll do it for the video today. So thanks for joining me. If you like some of these videos, like and subscribe. And until then, I will talk to you later.